listeners, our guest joining us on Just Talking is actor William Moseley to discuss his latest film, Saving Paradise, live on the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show, as he joins us from across the pond. Here's the man, the myth, the legend himself, William Moseley. How you doing, fam?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, Marissa.
Hi, William. Great to finally talk to you. I've been talking to your team via email. They are fabulous. You've got a great team behind you.
And all I can say, William, is before we begin, let's show our CCS family what's good.
Wait, you're so fast. You always
you don't want
do
to go
it.
into it? I just got so excited.
Okay, William, by the way, so Zoom is horrible, and I have to like pull things up. And every show, I ask him, give me a 10-second breather. Okay, and what does he do? He gives me 5.
Okay.
I'm ready now. I'm ready.
Okay, Marissa's ready. Let's roll the clip, fam. This is Saving Paradise.
A 2-month leave of absence? And at such a critical time?
I'm sorry, Cameron, but I have no choice.
Pencils, right?
It's a family business for over 100 years.
Just hire a broker and sell it.
It's a little more complicated than that.
Good morning, Mr. Peterson. 14 billion pencils were produced throughout the world last year, 2 billion in the United States of America. Peterson made about 1 billion of those.
90-day notice. Banks not renewing our loan.
90 days? We don't have $10 million.
We don't have $10,000. Hey, Mikey.
Charlie, it's been a while.
The days of you and him have long since passed.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Look, we're all working our asses off down there in the dark, Charlie. You're either with us or with him.
Michael, don't go soft on me. You're up for partner.
That's right. That's William Moseley. He is the star in Saving Paradise. And I got to say, I mean, look at you now compared to that film. I mean, you got the whole slick back hair and now the transition to like Ed Sheeran. I mean, what is going on? I mean, what are you in the works right now?
You know, I'm an actor, so I make a lot of changes very quickly.
I mean, luckily you're able to pull off the looks that you are able to do, my man. I mean, you look styling and profiling all the way. But William, let's get right on into it because your role in Saving Paradise is playing a character named Michael, a ruthless corporate raider forced to return to his small town roots where he suddenly inherits his father's nearly bankrupt pencil factory. So what made you want to be a part of this film?
You know, it sounds really weird, but when I don't know in America if you study English literature or, you know, what we would call
Shakespeare. That's it.
That would be it.
Exactly. That would be it. Or not to be.
That is the question. Wah, wah, wah.
But we studied in the UK. We studied a lot of American literature,
as it should be.
As it should be. And we studied, I remember we studied J.D. Salinger. We studied Steinbeck. We in school did a bit of Tennessee Williams.
Nice, I like that.
And I remember reading Mice and Men, which is kind of a classic American story. And I remember it all being about guys trying to like make it happen for themselves and coming up against these hurdles, you know, and they're kind of like tough guys that have had like a tough life and they have families and they're trying to get through and they've got this kind of pioneer American spirit. And I love the story, you know, and I realized a lot of Steinbeck's stories were like that. And so when I read Saving Paradise, to me, it reminded me of one of those old Steinbeck stories, you know, it had that kind of like meditation in it. So instantly I was like, you know, I got to do it. I got to come out to California, shoot a movie about the South.
That is so interesting.
See, that's funny you say that. Another reason, fast, Chris, is in the movie, it says that, you know, lead pencils come from England in like a little tiny sheep town. And that's why I thought you did this. Because you were like, I'm going to represent England. We marked our sheeps with that, with the lead.
Well, that is a funny point that you're bringing up, Marissa, because it's like you are from the United Kingdom. I mean, how did Saving Paradise resonate with you? Because overall, the film is geared towards the American dream and middle-class American workers. I mean, are you seeing some of those same experiences in the United Kingdom today with like gutted factories and gutted towns?
I know, isn't that such a horrible thought? You know, I don't know much about really what's going on with the factories here, but I know we have no car industry.
It's because you've been in lockdown.
I've been in lockdown, but I know we have no car industry anymore. I know that every British car company has been bought up by a conglomerate. So there's no British car company. I mean, I was trying to think about what we actually export in this country, and it's pretty much nothing. I mean, I think, you know, what we have here is the financial district, which is where like all the money goes through. So I guess that must be like keeping us afloat. But in terms of the, you know, Saving Paradise, you know, I was a little nervous to take on such an American story. I was like, well, what if I just don't pull it off? What if like I come across really British or I just don't get the mentality?
You did good accent work. It was good.
I was nervous though. I was really freaked out because I haven't really done like a full movie like that. So I kind of scared a lot of people on set, and I just stayed in an American accent the whole time, in case I like lost.
And you know, honestly, as an actor, you have to. Because it's so easy for us to fall back into our natural speech patterns and where we hold our tongue and where all the words are when we get into the moment and we're like heated. And here it is, like our natural habituals kick in. So you have to be that weirdo that just talks like an American.
Right. And I thought, I mean, people must have thought I was insane. They kept asking me, so where in America are you from? I was like, oh, I'm not from America, from England. Like, what?
I know
You
you
imposter.
It's when you got the hair a little bit nonchalant, then I can go, okay, he's maybe from England. But once you get the slick back look, now you're from middle America. But you know what? There was a particular line in the film that resonated with me, that stood out. It was actress Mimi Kennedy playing Barbara Peterson, and she says to your character, Michael, I know that your father wasn't a good businessman and that his heart was bigger than his wallet, but at least he had a heart. And the reason why I bring this up is, you guys are right now are just talking about the actor and actress lifestyle. And do you carry that same mindset in your cinematic career for as long as you've been in the game, or is it a bit different?
What a great question. You know, you have to make a living. You have to pay your rent. I mean, you can't be stupid. You know, you can't be like, oh, great, I just got a TV show. I'll go buy a Ferrari, you know, and then like, you know, 2 weeks later you wreck the thing and you've got no money left. Of course, you have to be.
Well, it's like what, gosh, I think Shaquille O'Neal said it. I mean, only buy the car if you can buy two of them. Oh, no, that was Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch said that.
No, it was Shaquille O'Neal. I remember him talking about it, and that was a very cool thing. He's talking about like, he bought himself a $100,000 Mercedes. Then he came home and his dad was like, I want one of those. So he went and got another one. Then he came home with the second one. And then I think his mum wanted one. So he ended up buying three. And then he paid $1 million. And now he didn't have any money left. And he was like,
yeah, and his financial advisor was
like
yo, bro.
MC Hammer back in the day. That's what happened to him. He had the gilded MC Hammer on his stuff, and he bought his family, his friends, his entourage, and now he broke.
But I mean, think about it. I mean, you know,
he's broke. He's broke. He's broke. He's broke. They did not bring back the MC Hammer pants. That thing died in the 80s.
but William, I mean, it would be sacrilegious for me not to mention that you will forever be known as a fan favorite child actor amongst millennials, holding the throne down in the Chronicles of Narnia as Peter. And as a child actor, did you get that financial advice at an early age? I mean, where was that support?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I really had no money growing up. So I used to like, my dad used to give me £10 at the weekend, which is like $12, to like go out and like buy some drinks. Because when you're 16, you can go to the pub. And so I used to like, well, 18, but we used to go at 16. You know, and I used to only buy myself one drink and save the rest, you know, and every weekend I just save the rest. And so when I got to making the Narnia movies, I was pretty good. Like I was pretty smart. Like I didn't buy anything extravagant. In fact, I bought this really busted up, beaten old car as my second car. And my driving instructor drove past one day and he saw me and he goes, can't you afford something better than that? He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, right. He goes, that's how much they're ripping you off at the Hollywood studios.
So you're a penny pincher. Ladies, listen, William Moseley is a penny pincher. He's not going to buy you that Ferrari, okay?
I mean, but just think about it. I mean, you were going neck and neck for years with Daniel Radcliffe in the Harry Potter series. And like, how did you become a child actor? Was it like, I know like when I hear about child actors, they're like sometimes forced by their family. It's like the one mom and one dad that was like, he was so beautiful at such a young age. We just knew he was perfect for the screen. I mean, how did you step into those roles? I mean, were you just that ambitious at a young age?
You know, I wasn't good at much, but I was good at acting. I was good
at stop it.
No,
yes.
Really
no, I get it.
Bottom of my class for pretty much everything. I was okay at English, but I was pretty much like in the bottom set for everything else. And acting I liked. I loved it, and I knew I was going to be an actor. But it was also something that people said to me, "Oh, you're actually good at this." You know, people were like, "Actually, you're really good. Like, you could maybe do this." And so I thought, well, if I can do it, great. I'll just go. And I started going to auditions from an open casting. And that very first open casting, the casting director remembered me for the Narnia movies, asked me to audition for the Narnia films. And it didn't happen overnight. It took a year and a half to get the part of Peter, of auditioning. So he went through like thousands of kids. But what I was lucky with was that I was the right person at the right time in the right time period.
Yes.
You know? Like, you know, they could have made that movie now for like a 16, 17-year-old kid who's playing 14, and they'd have gone around all the schools and that would have just worked out for him. But I was fortunate that I was there and like I could show up and I could get to the auditions and my parents would help me read the lines.
But you also had preparation. So what I have on the back of my business card is luck happens when opportunity meets preparation. That's philosopher Seneca, still valued today, because you could be in the right place at the right time. But if you haven't been preparing yourself and getting ready for it, then you wouldn't have been lucky. You would have just been passed over like, oh, good looking kid. I hope he gets his stuff together.
That's a great point, Marissa. And that just made me kind of think right now, like, how did you prepare yourself for after the success of the Chronicles of Narnia? Because I'm sure that starts to play a mental game. I know it kind of happened a little bit with Daniel Radcliffe. Did you kind of find that kind of same experience? I know you're like killing it right now with some of the films we'll be talking later, but like, did you feel any of that? You know,
Well, okay. This sounds crazy, and I really hope nobody ever takes this piece of advice that I'm about to give that I gave myself. But I said in my mind, I mean, two things happened. Number one was I was like, well, I want it to be hard for myself because I want to feel like I've earned my way to this next thing. Like I don't just become like a firework that like goes up, pops full of light and things, and then it's gone, and it's like everyone's like, okay, well that was that, you know, like. I wanted it to be tough so I could earn my way there, so I could have the tools, the skills, so I knew that I could respect myself when I came up against other great actors. You know, I'd be like, well, I've done it as well. Like, I've worked hard. Like, I have had a tough time. You don't want it to be tough, but I wanted it to, like, I wanted to go through it. You know, I was a cross-country runner as a kid, so I knew that you need stamina to get through things. And then in the other thing that really happened to me was I went through one winter in London basically on my own, and I just thought, I'm never doing this again. And so I booked a flight to California. I knew one guy there. I ended up living with him in the Hollywood Hills, and he had this amazing house, and he just was like, yeah, rock up, it's fine. And we ended up living for 4 years together, and it was great.
Okay, I'm dying laughing because my ex is English. And I went to go visit, and I went in a winter. I went summertime first, and I was like, I love England. So, oh my God, it's so beautiful. La la la, the accent. I went in a winter, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
3 hours of light. 3 hours of light. I was like, I can't do this.
But you know, as I kind of brought up the Chronicles of Narnia, I kind of want to bring in some pop culture news. I mean, it's been fluttering around for like the last couple of years, but you know, as Saving Paradise, I'll throw a pun into it. You know, they deal with the corporate takeover. How do you feel about Netflix buying out the rights to the Chronicles of Narnia, remaking an instant classic that you were a part of, that you once starred in? I mean, the reason I ask, William, is aren't you, as an actor, sick and tired of, you know, major studio outlets recreating the same films over and over again? One of the prime examples I can think of right now is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that's being remade on Peacock TV.
Point Break kind of got remade a little bit.
Yes, they're talking about The Bodyguard, I just heard last night, and they want Lizzo and Chris Evans to do it. I mean, why keep recreating something that is so iconic? I mean, what are your thoughts?
You know, first of all, Chris, I'm going to have to touch you up on a little bit of your knowledge. They are not remaking the movies. They are making the fourth movie, which happens to be Prince Caspian, and that will be a standalone movie.
Hey, I think a lot of fans listening right now are going to be excited.
Are you going to be in it? Are you going to be in it?
My character's not in that book, sadly.
Well, can't you be like a voiceover of the lion or something?
Sure. If they offer me up, I will do any part in it. I'll be very happy. I'll be like one of the dwarves. I'll be
there we go. Perfect.
But you know, in terms of what I think it will be like on Netflix, you know, it's a funny thing because Netflix 10 years ago, I think, was just like in the post DVD company. You know, you just sort of like sent out a DVD and came back, and now, you know, I heard this guy, Bob Iger, who happens to be the chairman of Disney,
Mhm.
saying, we got to catch up with Netflix. We've got to do something to catch up with these guys. And they really are a juggernaut. They really are like the number one, you know, like they are the top, because especially during a lockdown, you know, you think, what is there to do other than watch Netflix? So
Right.
you know, everything has kind of changed. The whole world's changed. The whole ball game's changed, you know, and like even seeing Scorsese doing The Irishman on Netflix, you know, it's like, it's kind of an amazing time for TV. And my dad was like this the other day. He's like, well, why are people going to the cinemas when they've got these giant TVs at home anyway?
You know what? That's so true. And I know Peter
How big
Ramsey
is
was
your
like,
TV, Chris?
I
How
know
big
the.
is your TV?
Oh, sorry. Say that one more time. I was talking
How
over
big
you.
is your TV, Chris? Tell me.
Oh, it's a 65-inch in
I
my living
knew
room.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
I have. All right, so I have no TV. All I have is my little laptop, and I refuse to buy a TV. Like I refuse.
Wait, you know what the weirdest part is about that?
I'm
Like
a
when I
weirdo.
watch Hulu, for example, I'm always watching on my smartphone. For some reason, it doesn't seem to bug me. I just like being in the comfort of my home, throw back a Budweiser, just lay back. I mean, I'm an easy guy, ladies, if you're listening.
Which means he's
I
cheap,
got
ladies.
the
So,
same-
ladies,
Yeah.
FYI, Chris and William are cheap. If you haven't caught on to the theme of our show, they'll stay at home and they're not going to buy you a car. Okay?
And we're laid back, ladies. We're laid
Why
back.
do you need a car when we've got
Laid
Netflix
back.
at home?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
Right? Why need a car when you're at home? But William, we spoke briefly yesterday before the live show, and you told me your excitement working side by side with Triple Threat Mel Gibson, including Kevin Dillon, on a new thriller film called On the Line. I mean, we're kind of like in that film right now. It's about a radio talk show. Mel Gibson's playing a radio host, but I don't really know much other than that. So tell us about the film and what role you are playing in this piece.
Okay, so it's a multi-layered thriller where it's full of a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of you know, reveals in the script. It's written by and directed by a French guy, so we shot it all in Paris, doubling it for California, which was kind of amazing how they did that. And then Mel plays I can call him Mel now that I've got it. Mel plays a like a radio talk show host. There's what we would say in England, Larry. You know, he's kind of he's uncensored. He's on at like 12 o'clock at night. He talks to people who like call in who've got problems, and he usually says the wrong thing to them, but it's funny. And you know, however, on one night somebody calls up and they have it out, and they have it in for him. They want to like ruin his life. And I play this new young producer that's just come in from London, and I kind of go on this adventure with him to like help him to uncover what's going on. And it's a very cool little movie. It's a very cool little film.
But real quickly though, because all of your fans need to know, will you be shirtless in that movie like you are in Saving Paradise? Because all I'm saying is it was a nice surprise in Saving Paradise when all of a sudden you were going over your how to say the company in your
Let's go back
underwear.
to a serious question. I know we got less than a minute left, but William, I know that you were really excited to work with Mel Gibson.
We're curious.
I know that you were really excited to work with Mel Gibson. I know that like millennials, I don't know if they necessarily understand him other than they go, he said that he had that one crazy outburst, but I know that you're excited to work with them. And why is that so special to you and your career now?
Well, when I was younger, I used to skive off. When I wanted to skive off school, I just didn't really want to go to school. My mom was pretty cool. She was just like, you know, you don't have to go to school today. I think she knew I just didn't want to go. And I would just sit at home and I'd watch the Lethal Weapon movies. I just watched like 1, 2, and 3. And to me, they were just kind of this like escape into like America, into like these cars, this guy, you know, running around trying to stop these criminals. And to me, it was just the coolest thing. It was just like the quintessential.
You're working with the guy who did Braveheart.
I mean,
I find that is so groovy, William
Passion
Moseley.
of the Christ.
And I gotta say, the fact that you joined us from all the way from across the pond, I know it's 6 o'clock in your time and 10 a.m. on our end, and the fact that you joined us for the Chris Collins Millennial Talk Show means the world for Marissa and I can speak for her. So, so we're beyond stoked, and we cannot wait to, everybody. Check out Saving Paradise. It's out now on VOD and all the streaming services, I believe Amazon right now. And William, thank you again for joining the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Thank you,
All right, rock and roll. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, fam.
Thanks, guys.